All right, let me set this up and then we'll just concentrate on the game. All right, there we go. I've actually learned that that's actually the right move. Instead of P17, you make P18. I don't really understand why yet, but I know that's the right move. Okay. I think you do this. I guess the shape isn't quite as appealing for black. I don't know if I should have done that though. Let's just go over here. So I'm not. I know that P18 is the right move. I don't think I did the follow up right though. I think I should have just probably done this just right off the bat. Does sort of make sense though, I guess. That's not a good move. I know you're trying to break up my territory, but there's like other just like way, way better moves here. I'm going to fly up and put pressure on the two stones. That's okay, I guess. He can't really just give these two stones up. Like, he probably shouldn't. He honestly shouldn't do that. Because if he just gives these two stones up, he's going to lose. Even if he does this, he's just solidifying my territory. And yes, it is pretty hard for me to actually kill him. But he's basically solidifying this side's territory as well. And it is actually pretty hard. It's not easy for him to live here. So like there are certain moves that you do actually have to respond to. There are definitely certain moves that you have to respond to. I'm just going to get my territory down here. He's not going to be able to solidify all of this. See, these are just like really bad invasions. I don't really even know what to do with this. I guess I'll just guard this. Like half of the stuff, like even if he lives down here, it's really not worth me responding to. There are just certain plays that you need to do to pull yourself out of danger, and obviously he's giving up this as well, which is that doesn't make any sense at all.
You have won.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I messed up that corner over there. I don't exactly know how to play that corner. I know for a fact that this is the right move. I think okay, this is okay then. Black should have done this right away, and then white has to do this. Yeah, this is how this plays out. So that's how that should actually play out. Remember that, Joseki. So, and if you're white, remember that like this move is okay. But generally, after playing many games and experimenting, this move is better. And the AI agrees with me that this move is the right move to do. So we do this, and then we do that. He does this. I'm going to go ahead and do this. That's fine. That's generally not a good invasion. You have to jump up. I'm going to do that just to put more pressure. And generally, like, you probably want to do something like this if you're black, or you just want to, like, come out even more. You don't really leave this alone. It's too easy to it's way too easy for white to actually put pressure on it, because like white can just do this first and then come out here, and then you basically have to run out, and white can get a lot of advantages chasing you around. So it's not one of those things that you, especially after you do this, like it's not really one of those things. Having the stone here actually makes a pretty big difference. It's not really one of those things that you can just leave alone, because these two are like pretty big. Obviously, I'm gonna do that. This is actually a pretty good way to get out, because you do have like ways to. You do actually have ways to get out here. So like either realistically, like either like this move, either if you want to get out like J16 or possibly J16 or possibly L16. Now, if you do L16, white could just do this and kill these two. You do have this option, but remember, you can't actually kill this stone down here. You can't kill this group down here because he can just easily take this, and that's actually alive. So you're still sacrificing. And then, like, if you're black, you have the option to do this, which could be pretty bad for white if he actually plays it that way. So this is obviously played wrong. So these moves are always pretty hurtful because you're taking away Aji on the corner and you're solidifying his corner territory. Like, I don't even really have to kill you here. I just basically have to get all these advantages and solidify my territory, and then you'll be behind because you can't get as much territory on your side. So doing this, obviously doing that, this pretty much kills it. And I'm just gonna kind of like solidify the bottom. That invasion doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, you can destroy a little bit of territory down there. This is obviously really bad. Doesn't make any sense. And that's where the game actually ends. But realistically, like, I actually understand your wantingness. And you'll see me do this all the time. Like, your wantingness to actually, like, not answer, your wantingness to not actually answer a move like this and get a big move. But realistically, like, there are just some things you have to answer to. Because if you don't answer them, you're going to put yourself in danger, and I can attack these stones. And if I kill these stones, it's a huge advantage to me. If I don't kill these stones, you still have to like do a lot of damaging moves. So like it's really a balance of taking Sente. Like when I take Sente, I know my group's really not in danger for the most part. But like this, like your group is actually in danger, and there's a lot of like there's actually a lot of Aji, or there's actually a lot of advantages I can get for taking the group. So you do actually need to come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just play another game, because that one was too short. And if someone will accept it, we'll get another teaching game going.
Game started.
All right. There's the game. And yes, we're good. We're good. We're in again. I usually don't play on Saturdays because I'm usually out, but it's actually kind of like really bad weather outside, so I'm not going to do any. So I'm not actually going to do anything this Saturday. It's perfectly fine. That's a kind of an unusual approach. I'm not really sure what to do with this approach. I'm going to try this. I don't think this is the right move, but I'm going to try it. It can't be that bad, right? Okay, that's kind of what I expect. You're one line lower than you usually are, so I'm very, very much willing to do this. I don't think you can just take off and do that. Um, I am going to pincer because I already have these here. I'm okay with doing this. Your group's still not quite settled yet. I'm also really, really hungry right now, so I actually need to go out and get some food soon. So that's fine, but I this is really, really critical for this. Um, I feel like yeah, you can't just take off down here. I mean, there's the cut obviously, but I'm not really going to do the cut right now. And the thing is, if I do this, it just feels. I think it feels pretty bad for black, and then I can just go. I can attack this later. Right now, I'm not going to attack it. I think like B18 is actually a pretty powerful move. I do think B18, like C18 is a pretty powerful move for white because then like this doesn't really have a base. I'm not going to do it right now. It's not big enough right now. But like you can see like later on, you can see later on that this move R13 can actually be pretty devastating as well. And it's Sente, and it is actually Sente. So you get like some territory plus. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and do that soon. If he doesn't fix that, which I guess it depends on like where he plays this time. Like this kind of shape has a lot of issues. All right, I'm actually just going to do this first. Because I don't see this as being, first of all, I don't really see this as being a threat to white. I have the S, I actually do have S3, that as a move. And that is, believe it or not, still Sente for me. It's also not a good way to fix it because you still have this move later on. But I'm going to go ahead and play S2 first. That's just a weird way to do that, honestly. You would either play S5 or S4. That's really not a good answer. Yeah, you can't do that. I'm just going to take these stones. You actually have to play S5 when I do that. This is too. I should have probably just taken it, but like, this is too damaging for. This is too damaging for black. Like I'm completely settled now. There's no way to actually pressure me anymore. So like I said, I'm gonna play this. Like white is pretty far ahead at this point. I'm just gonna be able to solidify some territory and then maybe put pressure on this group if I can. Also, C18 completely kind of like makes this group down here kind of stable. That's a bad move. That solidifies my territory more. I'm more than willing to just to take this bottom territory. There's a lot of territory there. A lot. And plus, you are still having problems with this move later. Like, I am more than willing just to take this territory down here. It's a lot of territory. And the thing is, since you don't have any weak groups to attack on me, guess I'll just do that. I mean, that's like a lot of points here. You could try to make like more center influence, but it's really hard to cash in on this kind of stuff. It's figured, but I can just come up here. And that makes F16 definitely viable. It's not too bad because if I play F16, he can just play F15, and he doesn't give up too many here, but that's a lot of territory he's giving up on the bottom. A lot. I don't really feel like that's all that important because you can't threaten this group anymore. So I'm going to get rid of like your possibilities over here first with this move. And then I will work on decreasing your territory over here after I make this move first. Because that move is basically, that move has to be answered. If you don't answer that move, that actually gets you into a lot of problems. And the thing is here, like, there's just so many problems, and if he wants to try to make the center territory, he's gonna have to give up so much territory. That's actually a really bad move as well. He like legitimately has to give up so much territory when he actually does this, or he just can't make that territory at all. I probably messed up here. But regardless, like, you can break his. I think I probably just gave him that, but that, yeah, whatever. Doesn't. I think the double Hane was the correct move there, actually. That's fine. There's actually a problem down here if he Hanes and then double Hane, so I'm going to do this up here. There's not much territory left in here anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me. There is some influence to make this territory up here, but it's not going to be all that big. And plus he had to give me all this territory down here, so I'm okay with that. And plus, like, I can actually take advantage of this over here. Actually, that's a risky move. It's a pretty risky move. I think I have enough liberties to do it, but it's pretty risky. Probably should have just done this. The center territory isn't going to be huge, so I didn't really have a need to do that. Probably should have just used like some advantages over here. What? No, you have to extend this. Because now you don't, like, you were actually pretty close. He was actually pretty close to making a big territory over here. So giving me this stone is definitely a blatant mistake. Now now this territory, there's just nothing down there now. I mean, I played this wrong. I probably should have just like broken some of the territory up here. There was a good 30, 40 points here. I still think I pretty much would have won because I would have gotten the entire bottom territory, but still. I guess I'm in a bit of trouble, actually. That's actually even worse for him because it gives me this for free. He still has to connect. So, like, this I think kills him. But even if it doesn't, it's actually not a bad move. Even if it actually didn't kill him, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I guess it, I mean, like, I guess he can connect both of them because I can't just charge and connect. I'm just going to have to do this. Oh, okay. If he does that, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this just to clean up any mess. I don't think there's a way he could survive anyways, but just in case, I'm basically just going to solidify that. Because there's really no way he can fight me after this, I don't think. I mean, I would try, but I don't think there's any way he can fight me after that. I'm just going to take this stone just to avoid anything down here. Like, when you're winning by that much, when you're actually winning by this much, you basically just make sure you win. You don't have to win by any more.
You have won.
So I actually made a lot of mistakes this game. I think I got too careless, but this is actually okay. I don't know how to answer that, actually. I think I just do this. Personally, if someone approaches here, I would just play P16 in an even game, because I think I don't think this is a good approach for black. I don't think this is a good approach for black. I would definitely either just play this, or I would probably just play this. I think that's a perfectly fine answer. I did this just to see what would happen. Now, that's bad because I think I should have immediately done this. That demands a response. So I pincered. He jumps, I jump, he does that. I'm going to do this, and then that. Of course, I'm going to immediately do this. This is actually really big. It increases my influence and decreases his influence. This is a really bad move. This is definitely the right move, and then doing that. That's how you're supposed to do this, because doing this does not actually solve this cut problem. So I'm gonna just keep going. He does that, which is a bad move too, because if I do this, White could actually choose this option. Like I think like he's forgetting White could definitely always just choose that option if really White really wants to. So I'm gonna go here. He does that. Take the corner. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I know this is Sente for me, so he's gonna have to respond, and then I'm gonna Hane here first. That's a really bad response. But like if this was Gote right now, I wouldn't have played this. But I know for a fact this is Sente, because he has to respond here. Otherwise, I come down here and it's really bad for him. So I basically get like a free, 10 points or so at least, and I get more solidification on this corner, and plus he has to answer. So I'm going to do this first because this is pretty critical for this group's survival. That's just a bad response. You probably do this. I would guess you would probably do that. Maybe this. It depends. One of those two. This obviously leaves this open, and you're definitely not going to... Oh, by the way, when he Ataris, you should just take this. I play this wrong. I do this, and then he does that. That's fine. I'm going to do this first because it does improve my shape with these two, and it puts more pressure on these three, since he can't really do like C17 anymore. He does that. That's always a bad move. This doesn't really do much for black. I know you're trying to build the upper influence, but it doesn't really do much for black, and you're basically just giving white more territory. Now, this isn't bad. You're building up this wall over here. So right now, what I would do if I was black is I would play C12, because that expands your territory here, and if white doesn't jump up, it actually makes use of this wall. So he plays this move. I'm going to reduce his territory. I'm going to reduce his influence. He seals that off, and then like I'm going to do this first because that's a Sente, and that reduces this side completely. Then I'm going to go over here to expand my territory while pressuring him. I think this is okay. I mean, this might have just been better. But I think like coming out and getting rid of some of this is okay. That's always a bad move. I think here you probably just play this or something, and you wait for white to help you solidify your corner. But this is always a bad move. It really, really damages this side. Forcing me out, never really that good. That's a bad move by me. So the thing is, if I play elsewhere, there is the double Hane, and that actually does give me trouble, because if I would have to do this, I would actually have to play this way, and that could actually lead to trouble for me, because if I do this is Sente, and I'm kind of screwed here. So the double Hane I was actually watching out for. The Hane here, and then I'm going to come up here to avoid the double Hane here. So here, I think black should have Hane'd here. Definitely black should have Hane'd there. That's very, very big. that destroys all the points I could have gotten in there. So I Hane this. He's just going to give me all these points. That's probably a bad move. I probably should just do this. Yes, black can get these points in here, but, you know, like, with this, you know, there's always, like, these kind of moves. And, you know, I can, since I have that now, I can do this and block this way. This looks like it's a lot of points, and it could be pretty big, but, you know, like, with all these wraparound points that white has, white's going to win this game. And plus, like, you know, white can always play here or something. Or use like certain advantages here, or actually use certain advantages here to, or use like certain advantages here to solidify this, and then like aim for something like this. Because you can't really, you even if you do this, and I basically I guess, like, you know, I would do this first, go up here, and then do this, and then like which one of those are you going to connect? That's kind of a question. I think you can connect this one though, because yeah, it probably doesn't play out too well. Because this doesn't really work. White's missing a liberty, so that doesn't actually work. But there's certain advantages that you can actually take over here, I think. Maybe something like this. I don't know if he responds here or not. That still wouldn't work. Well, this would actually work. It'd be kind of sketchy though. But there's certain advantages that like white could take over here. But the thing is, like, if white can actually get all this territory and then like get some of the territory down here, white's actually ahead. This looks really big, but this whole side's going to be much bigger. So I'm really not that afraid of it. And also I could have just played something like this. Like this was actually the worst move I could have chosen because it's an obvious like push. But if I just did something like this, it would be really hard for him to respond because I could just go back. There's really not much he can do about this. I mean, he could get this territory, but this territory is a lot less now, and he's just not going to have, like, you know, he's just really not going to have enough territory once like white comes down or something. Because white always has options to do things like this. Kind of like control the amount of territory you have to where, like, you know, what white actually has. And at this point, white would probably just play some Sente moves, to where like what white has over here roughly equals your corner here, and like this group, this territory plus this territory is going to be way greater than this territory. That the center territory looks big, but it's not as big as this territory plus this territory. So white would actually have a solid lead right now. So like the thing is, like, once again, the center territory looks big, but like the center territory actually looks big, but it's not enough to actually get you the win. So that's today's game in review. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. And, you know, this game was a lot of like just mistakes in the beginning, and there are like certain Josekis that you need to learn. And like, you can either like watch these videos or you can just read a book about certain Josekis. So like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications button. I'll be back on Monday. I'll see you guys